This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Dustin Hoffman.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Dustin Hoffman, and today we are going to be talking a little bit about HPAI and conservation with Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig. We're also going to get a check of the closing markets coming up with the folks at agmarket.net. But again, right now, here's Iowa Ag Secretary Mike Naig looking back at what HPAI looked like this fall and what our hopes are for going into 2026, and also conservation programs for the next growing season. All right, now we'll move on to another topic, one that we don't want to like talking about either, but we were knocking on wood, a month ago about HPAI. We'd only had one case this fall. Things changed a little bit after we had last talked. Where are we at, and how are we feeling this year as it winds down compared to other years past when we've seen this upswing of the disease again?
Yeah, unfortunately, here we are, the fourth year now that we've continued to deal with high-path avian influenza. However, in Iowa, again, I am going to knock on wood here as we talk. 25 has been obviously been less activity for us. We had that case early October, and I don't mind telling you, we were very concerned that was somehow an indicator that we were going to be very, very busy through the fall. Now we just did have another case in a turkey farm just here recently. Again, you're kind of holding your breath and saying, was it a one-off? I think, one, we need to acknowledge something here. There are still wild bird detections happening. There are positive commercial cases in other states surrounding us. I don't want to tempt fate by saying this, but I think it's a testament to, again, the improved biosecurity that we're seeing on our poultry farms. The Lord knows they have been moving heaven and earth and making significant investments, our producers have, to keep wild bird contact down at a minimum. And I think that is helping. But I think we're also getting some help with the weather as well. But what we need is to push these wild birds south. They need to migrate, get out of here, get some nasty weather and some strong winds. And I think we're seeing that now. So I'm certainly hopeful that as we move through the holidays, but I really wouldn't say we're out of the woods until you got to get into January before you start to really think that we can put this fall migration or the southern migration behind us. So just a testament to a lot of hard work. I appreciate the work of my team and the industry. We respond effectively when we need to, and we're always ready to go. We just hope we don't have to execute on these plans.
Then moving on to more positive topics here. Obviously, conservation has been something that IDALS has been working very hard with and helping make some of these practices become more of a reality. So you look back on 25 and look ahead to 26 as farmers are already preparing for what we're going to be doing here and then just a couple more months. How do you feel about where we've come from this time last year and looking ahead to next year?
Well, we continue to see strong demand. In fact, we set a record for demand for cover crop cost share this year. We're below the doors off of the numbers, and that's just, again, an indicator of we actually shut the program down. We said we're out of money. I heard from all kinds of folks. We opened it back up, put a few more into the system, and again, it's just there's an increased awareness on that particular topic. 4 million acres of cover crops now. We set another record for conservation last year. That's 4 years in a row. We're pushing hard. I intend to set another record. We intend to set another record this year. And so what I think what I look at is every practice that gets done, every project that we announce, those are all great. And I could talk about individually the buffer program, the batch and builds, the wetlands. But what I sit back and look at in a kind of management standpoint of the soil and water program is, are we accelerating? Are we engaging more farmers? Are we filing more claims? Are we working with more partners? Are we leveraging more state resources against federal dollars, local dollars, private sector dollars? And in every metric that you can look at from that standpoint, we are moving in the right direction, scaling up, accelerating. We are constantly looking at, hey, if we did 4 million acres of cover crops, how are we going to get the next million acres? If we did 26 nitrate reducing wetlands in this year, how are we going to get to 30? And we are always trying to unlock that next level and working with a ton of partners to do that. So again, I'm proud of the team. I'm proud of the That's just not my team. That's the collective team of all the folks that are out there pushing hard to get conservation work on the ground. And there's more we need to do. Would encourage people. What can you do? What's the next level? Get engaged, ask for help. We'd love to be able to work with you on how to get more conservation done.
Well, we're at the end of another trading day here on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, talking right now with Ethan Robson of agmarket.net. And Ethan, again, end of the trading year coming up tomorrow. What did we see going into this Tuesday?
Yeah, relatively quiet trade today, definitely on the defensive side. Most fund managers have called it a year. You can see that with soybean open interest, the lowest since June of 2024. So most of these fund managers closing up shop today, happy with their P&L, getting ready for the 2026 year. Going over to the market sides, grains and oilseeds today, we saw March corn down a penny and 3/4, 440.5. Soybeans down 2 to 3 across the board. January first notice day is tomorrow. January closed down 5.5, getting out of those longs at 10.44. March soybeans down 3, 10.60, 3/4. Wheat markets down 2 to 3 across the board today.
So what's kind of moving the markets? We know it's quiet right now because of the holidays. It usually is this time of year, but there's been so much talk outside of the United States of things that are putting pressure on the markets. I mean, soybeans were about 4 to 5 cents higher overnight, and then they just kind of turned things around here going into the morning time.
It is, yeah. So came into this morning, 8 a.m. flash sale, saw on the market wires. China came in, bought 136,000 metric tons of soybeans. Saw another flash sale today of 231,000 metric tons of soybeans. Unknown destinations. Market continue to see any Middle East tensions, and then Russia, Ukraine as well, seeing some risk premium there as those two go back and forth. Corn trading below most major moving averages as well. Most looking at that 100-day moving average for support. So all in all, relatively quiet marketplace right now. Trades just continuing to look at that January 12th USDA crop production report, that final U.S. yield number for both corn and soybeans. That's going to be the market mover going into the new year. Be able to see, okay, what is that final U.S. corn and soybean yield, and how big is this crop going to be?
All right, then moving over to the livestock side of things. I know yesterday was kind of a mixed day for cattle. Hogs didn't do too great, but then today things looked like they were turning around. Were they able to finish stronger here on this trading day?
They were, yeah. Good to see some green on the screen on the cattle protein sector today. Live cattle, February contract, just can't get above that 100-day moving average on the technical support today. Trading in between that 100 and 20-day moving average, trading back and forth today. Was able to find some support down on that 20-day moving average. Need to get that above that 100-day moving average to see us go farther from there on the technical side. Feeder cattle going over to that March contract here. A little bit of a different story. Been able to get above that 100-day moving average. Seeing some gaps filled as well. So good to see some momentum there. Overall, story remains the same. That tight cattle supplies continue to rule the market. Overall, though, it's just market sentiment. Just trying to figure out, okay, what is the mismanaged money going to do during this low liquid times? Lean hogs as well, going over the February contract there. Impressive run in lean hogs. Traded above the 100-day moving average today, but haven't been able to close above that 100-day moving average consecutively since mid-October. So going to be important to see that February contract close above that 100-day moving average again. Hopefully get some ground so it can be off and running.
All right. Well, if folks want to talk with you guys at agmarket.net, maybe look through some of the intel you guys are following and get some idea of where the markets are shaping up for their plans. What's the best way for them to get that conversation started, Ethan?
Yeah, visit us online, agmarket.net, test our MyFarm software or any of our intel. Better yet, come down to Nashville with us. We'll be there January 31st through February 2nd. You can register online. We'd love to see everybody there.
All right, Ethan Robson's been our guest here on the AMPM. Thanks so much for the insight. Have a happy new year. We'll talk to you again real soon.
You as well. Stay safe.
That again was our market analysis from the folks at agmarket.net. Let's go ahead and take a look at those closing numbers on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network market screen. At the close, March corn was down 1 3/4 at $4.40 1/2. January beans were down 3 1/4 at $10.46 1/4. Soybean meal $2.10 lower at $2.9670. Soy oil 15 cents higher at $48.93. Chicago wheat down 2 1/4 at $5.10 3/4. Kansas winter wheat down 5 1/4 at $5.22 even. Kansas spring wheat 1/4 cent lower at $5.64 even. Minneapolis spring wheat 3/4 cent lower at $5.78 1/2. Oats down 1/2 at $3.04 3/4. On the Merc, live cattle up $1.50 at $230.47. Feeders up $2.55 at $349.55. Lean hogs up 97 cents at $85.45. Pork cutouts unchanged at $93.75. And Class 3 milk 16 cents higher at $15.40. And that's with a check of our closing markets, and that brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all our content online at iowaagnet.com. From the middle of the field out here north of Ankeny, I'm Dustin Huffman. For Mark Magnuson and Riley Smith, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.